Waheguru. My name is Paul Mahern, and I'm a pop culture junkie. I love celebrity, especially celebrity that is unencumbered by much talent. I'm not so much fascinated by celebrities themselves. I'm fascinated by our obsession with celebrity and how it affects our common consciousness. I grew up here in Indianapolis, Indiana. My mother was a deeply religious person. She went to church every day, at least until she divorced my father and was excommunicated from her community. Not long after the divorce, we moved to Chicago, and she became a real spiritual seeker. And she took me with her as she went to the Jesus Freak Church, yeah, that's what they called themselves, the Buddhist Temple, the Gurdjieff Ouspensky Center, and to the Transcendental Meditation Center to get my first TM mantra when I was 9 years old. In all of these situations, I never really felt like I belonged, but I was fascinated by the people and their common beliefs. In 1976, I was in 8th grade, and I discovered the rock band Kiss. I loved Kiss because they were pure rock and roll fantasy. The songs were simple, the production value was simple, but live, it was all fire and blood. And the other thing that I loved about Kiss so much was knowing that all over the place there were kids my age on the playground talking about them and listening to their records at home. I'd found my tribe. Those records, they were like beautiful, mystic communiques that came from some far-off headquarters. And locked in the grooves of those records was the vibration that the band had produced themselves, now being broadcast in my living room. I felt a part of something. It was hard to know much about the members of the band. You couldn't even really tell what they looked like in their makeup. They were shrouded in mystery. And although they were certainly just men in costumes, somehow they'd managed to reinvent themselves as gods that walked on the same earth that I was on. I knew from that moment on that I could be whatever I wanted to be, that humans really could be superheroes. And I became obsessed with pop culture and music as a form of communication and interconnectedness. And this is most certainly why I became a record producer. Now, being in the studio as much as I have has afforded me the opportunity to be with some amazing musicians, people that come from all walks of life, to communicate through sound vibration effortlessly, regardless of age, race, political belief, or gender. They're playing with what I see as the fabric of existence by playing with sonics. As it says in the New Living Translation Bible, in the beginning there was only the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. I see this word as a metaphor for creative vibration. According to quantum mechanics, everything is always in vibration. So when you hit a guitar chord, and if strings vibrate and create a sound wave, that's an amplification of all of reality. When a band comes together to play, I've noticed that they are no longer just individuals, but a group mind forms as they begin to play with this energy. The first half of my career as a recording engineer, we used these simple devices like 2-inch tape machines, big recording consoles, analog outboard gear. These may look complicated to the untrained eye, but really they're simple devices used for capturing and manipulating sound. In the 1990s, my workspace began to look a little more like this. The digital audio workstation came along and changed everything. Computers put a lot of power in the hands of the technical crew to edit the recordings. Producers became obsessed with fixing the recordings, eliminating the human qualities. And furthermore, the workflow really changed. When we were working with analog tape machines, you'd get to the end of a song and hit rewind, and you would have a moment to think. All of this led to stress in the workplace. And so I found yoga. My Thursday night yoga class did wonders to de-stress and relax my mind, but I soon realized that one night a week was not going to be enough. And that's when I discovered Kundalini Yoga as taught by Yogi Bhajan. In 2002, I went to New Mexico to study directly with Yogi Bhajan. I was 39 at the time, and I really needed to be reminded about the magic of life. I don't know what I expected to find in New Mexico, but I didn't expect to find so much peace through sound. Kundalini Yoga is a practice where we do a lot of chanting using sacred music. Yogi Bhajan was a Sikh man. Sikhism is based on the teachings of a great poet, Guru Nanak. Central to the Sikh experience is devotional music. In the Golden Temple in Amritsar, India, the seat of Sikhism, they're playing devotional kirtan music around the clock. They believe that this does wonders for the hearts and minds of men, reducing sorrow and depression. Guru Nanak himself said that music is a vehicle for transcendental bliss and spiritual joy. In Kundalini Yoga, we often meditate on the mantra Vaheguru. Vaheguru, it means, wow, God. It's an exclamation of wonder. It's an acknowledgement that all things are interconnected. Nothing exists outside of God. It's a neutral, calm, centered place. But it's a phrase that can be used when you're happy, when good things happen. If you win the lottery, Waheguru! And if you crash your car, Waheguru. It's a little boat that you can get in to ride above the waves of life. One of my favorite practices is using this mantra, vibrating it internally as I walk in nature. It's called breath walk, and Guru Charan Singh Khalsa wrote a great book about it. The basic idea is that you walk and you synchronize your breath, the internal recitation of mantra, and mudra, or hand positions. And when you do this, it relaxes your mind. You find yourself slipping into the flow, and you begin to see life with its events and beings as less separate, more one thing. I begin to hear birds singing as no more natural and beautiful than the sound of automobiles racing down the road. They are all part of the symphony of vibration. This practice has done wonders for me in my workplace. I feel like I'm no longer calculating my moves, but operating from a place of intuition. This will work for anybody in any situation. And if you'd like more information, you can check out the Kundalini Research Institute. The world is constantly bombarding us with media information. We spend so much of our lives learning about things outside of ourselves and very little time taking the inner journey to our own highest self. Waheguru. Furthermore, with this barrage of information, the mystery of life is being sucked away. We know so much about things that really don't mean anything to us. We know so much about the members of KISS. And the more we know, the less they seem like gods. Waheguru. So the world outside is going to be what it is. But you can decide to operate from a position of calm, centered neutrality, where you can decide what frequency are you going to broadcast. Love, understanding, empathy, regardless of what is poking you from the outside. Say it with me. Waheguru. Waheguru. Thank you.